introduce you to Joe Flores, who is a former legal nurse consultant, a nurse practitioner, and an attorney who will be presenting at our May 30, 31, and June 1st conference called Murder Mysteries Unraveled. We invited Joe because he's got a unique perspective of having a foot in the medical world and a foot in the legal world. And we've invited him in this video to share with you just for a couple of minutes about what he will be covering in the conference. Joe, I am so pleased you're going to be with us for the conference and would love it if you could tell our listener a little bit about what you're planning to cover at the conference.
Well, thank you, Pat. It's always a pleasure to work with you and Barbara and everyone else who works so hard to bring these conferences to those who watch them, particularly legal nurse consultants who may be entering the field of criminal law. Traditionally, LNCs were thought of as just helping on nursing home cases or wrongful deaths regarding malpractice or negligence. But now, more and more, they're focusing in on violence, murder, manslaughter, and also negligent homicide. These are different types of charges that involve taking the life of someone. My presentation will include the different types of murder. We'll look at this at the national level. I'll bring it home and give examples of how Texas handles these types of cases, including capital murder charges that could possibly end up in a death sentence. But we will also look at the process that goes through a prosecutor's mind, such as the actions that he or she takes, looking at the detective's work, the crime scene, forensics, and then taking all that evidence to a grand jury, getting an indictment, having that person arrested, talk about bond, we'll talk about the whole aspects of the experience through the lens of the accused, and also the duty of the prosecutor, as well as the defense, which I believe we're going to have an excellent speaker who has defended criminal cases such as murder, manslaughter, and negligent homicide, among others. My presentation will also include the elements that are needed to prove the case. Everybody needs to know that the burden of proof lies with the government, and you need to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. We will talk about the levels of burden of proof, preponderance of evidence, or clear and convincing evidence. But here in murder, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And that is hard to define, but generally it is something that is something so important in the most personal of your affairs that you have a doubt about. If you have any doubt, even what they call a scintilla, you must acquit. We'll also talk about how many jurors need to decide, which is unanimously. And we'll talk about a mistrial, or what they call a hung jury, and also cover what's going on through the judge's lens when they're calling a ball and a strike, and what can be admitted, what is admissible, objections that can be made by either side, and also talk about the procedure that is reached and plea agreements that may be reached before going to trial. And then I will cover briefly the appellate arguments that may be made. They have to be made on the record. They have to be objected to certain information that is introduced to trial, or you waive those rights. So all these technical things we'll be talking about, but we'll be using a concrete example, and I'll be walking through and trying to avoid all the legalese and talk down to earth, as a great man once said, on a level that everyone can easily understand. And that is the elements of murder, the lesser included charges that prosecutors often bring in order to safeguard a conviction, and also working with the victims, the family that is left behind, and the family on either side, whether the person believes they're falsely accused, or the person that or family that have lost somebody to murder. And I look forward to illuminating this topic and putting a big spotlight on it, and helping everyone understand from the lawyer's point of view. And I'll bring out a little bit about my past experience as a nurse practitioner and as a good old LNC. And I look forward to it and working with you all coming up very soon.
Thank you, Joe. That's a wonderful overview, and I'm getting so excited and interested in this topic as the longer I hear you share what you're planning to cover. Join us at the conference by clicking on the link directly below this video, which is lnc.tips/murder, and reserve your spot. If you see this video after the conference, you're welcome to go to that link and invest in the recordings. We'll see you then.